Hey, everybody. Welcome to the 214 podcast. Back for another show. This is episode 0005. We made it to episode 5. Today, we got a great guest. Her name is Ashley Brodnax, and she's going to be joining us here in just a few minutes. I'm going to introduce her real good. Ashley Brodnax is a 19-year veteran of the Arkansas Air National Guard, where she has served across 4 career fields: vehicle operations, emergency management, services superintendent, and her current role as superintendent of the Communications Flight. Her career includes 2 deployments and a long record of leadership supporting mission readiness, organizational development, and professional growth of airmen. Beyond her military service, Ashley has spent more than 12 years as a CrossFit Level 2 coach, helping individuals build resilience, confidence, and lifelong wellness. She is deeply involved in enlisted advocacy, having served in both the Enlisted Association of Arkansas National Guard and the Enlisted Association of the National Guard of the United States, or as we say, EANGUS. She currently serves as the National Treasurer of EANGUS. Ashley is also the founder of Ignite Women on Fire, a networking and empowerment community dedicated to supporting women through connection, mentorship, and shared purpose. She is a wife, mother of 1, and grandmother of 2, and one fine American. She brings her passion for service, community engagement, and giving back into every role she holds. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the 214 podcast my friend and former Air Force colleague, Master Sergeant Ashley Brodnax. Yay!
Wow! Thank
how
you
do you like
so
that?
Much.
I added the
You
one
almost
fine
made me start
American,
crying.
Well, it's you're quite an established individual.
Thank you. It's an honor. I've been very blessed.
I'm so excited to have you on the show. You're like the most prestigious person I've had on the show next to my wife. You're the first real guest on the show in history.
Wow!
So you should be happy about that. You should be
I
excited.
am actually honored, very honored. Thank you.
Years from now, you'll be saying, I was the first guest on that show, and now it's better than Joe Rogan.
What do you mean years from now? I'm going to post this immediately.
Yeah. So how you been doing?
Busy. As you can tell with my intro, I stay busy because I'm not sure what to do with myself if I sit down and take some time. It drives my husband absolutely bonkers, but
Yeah,
sitting down is hard for me.
how is this old Lance?
Lance is doing amazing. He's super excited about to retire in about 9 months, so he's gonna have a long honey-do list when he does.
He's everybody's favorite mascot, isn't he?
He absolutely is. It's funny because whenever I use him in a video or post about him,
Yeah.
he brags about how many likes and comments I get when he's on there versus when it's just me. So yeah, he's the actual entertainment.
He's a good guy. I know him well. Hey, so I have I heard or I saw somewhere that you're afraid of snakes.
Oh my gosh. I just got goosebumps when you said that. Deathly afraid. If there's only one thing in this world that I'm scared of, and it is snakes. Absolutely.
Well, you would be frightened to be here because yesterday we killed a huge snake, probably as long as my leg. It was wrapped up in the guinea. We have guineas, and it's wrapped up in their little pen there.
Oh.
And I killed it yesterday.
No, the whole house would be on fire. We would have to move everything.
I hate snakes. I hate spiders. And I hate snakes. Like people do the tarantula thing on TV. I can't stand that stuff.
See, I don't mind. Spiders could be crawling all over me. That's fine. It's really? A snake. Yes, oh, man, absolutely.
Well, I'm with you. I'm worse than you on that. So I know Ashley. For my audience here is a lot of veterans, a lot of dudes, a lot of guys over 50. And for those who don't know, I know Ashley. I used to serve in the Arkansas Air National Guard. and I know Ashley from there, and at Little Rock Air Force Base. How is Little Rock Air Force Base treating you?
It's, you know, every day's an adventure, especially with, the change of career fields and, even within the career field itself that I'm currently at, the changes that we've had, doing a one base, one network type of concept. So, working hand in hand with the active duty every day, because we don't have necessarily our own network anymore. So every day is literally an adventure for me.
So before we get, I want to talk to you about your job, but before we do, I want you to talk about being a grandma real quick. I mean, and because I know you want to talk about that, so or I would, if I was a grandpa, I would want to talk about it.
Absolutely.
Tell me about the grandbabies now.
So, I am one blessed grandmother of two. My daughter Bailey, she's my only child. She has brought into this world Carter-LEIGH, and he is 7, and Tegan Ashley, yes, named after
Oh, there you
grandma.
go. Yeah.
Both into this world, and I had not seen them face to face. We FaceTime weekly, but face to face until this weekend. So I had them this weekend, and tonight will be our last dinner before they have to head out. And I couldn't ask for anything better. My daughter, I tease her and said, if I knew having grandkids was this amazing, I would have skipped having a kid. And she's like, Mom, you can't do that. And I'm like, well, if there was a way.
Yeah,
No,
if
my
there was a
daughter,
way.
she's amazing. She is just as independent, and she's a little entrepreneur. I'm not sure where she got it from, but she's been a blessing to me. For real, she's the reason why I'm here today. So
Is she part of your Ignite uh
no,
thing?
she actually lives in Virginia, and
Oh,
all of my Ignite Women on Fire ladies, are here in Arkansas, so
oh, okay, okay.
yeah, Central Arkansas.
Well, we'll get that. We'll get to that here in a minute because I want you to tell us all about that because I'm so interested in that program.
Okay.
I'm just like people like Joe Rogan and stuff like that,
Mhm.
and they bring on the most. One of the reasons I do this show, Ashley, is so that I can learn from other people. I started this because I saw people like, I would watch interesting people you could ever imagine, and you just learn so much for people from experts in their field or people that have went through tragedy or trauma and stuff like that. You can learn so much just by listening to people's story. And
Absolutely.
that's one reason I wanted to do this because I felt that was missing in my life, just to connect with other people and to share that story with other people, the 3 or 4 that might be watching this.
You mean
So,
hundreds, hundreds.
yeah. So, well, tell me a little bit about your career, your job now. What was it? The communications flight
Yeah,
superintendent?
so we're a
Yeah.
flight, we're not quite a squadron because we don't have enough, airmen, but I currently serve in the 189th Communications Squadron, or sorry, flight. I just talked about us not being a squadron, but flight. I have been in this flight for almost 5 years, and I was actually command directed to the flight. It was not something I actually wanted to do at first, and I kind of went kicking and screaming. I had a 24-hour notice, and I was told that the next day I was going to be, calm, and I'm like, "I know how to turn on and off a computer. What are y'all doing?"
Yeah.
But I learned that, there's always reasons behind everything, and I would have to say for my first good year in that flight, I was pretty hard-headed and, probably not the best of leaders just because I didn't wanna be there, and I was upset on how it happened. But after I accepted the fact that I was there, I had to go to God and say, "Okay, I see I'm here. This is where you want me to be. Help me find
Amen.
my purpose. Help me find my purpose here."
Yeah.
And it's taken a little bit, but I truly believe that I am there because, the comm community is very different than I am. They're very quiet. They like playing games. They're very techy. And I feel
Mm.
like that God has placed me there to just open up a different type of leadership to them,
Yeah.
encourage them to get outside their box, and then also has taught me a little bit about, I don't know, just a different group of people that I didn't quite understand. But oddly enough, my husband has been in IT forever.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
so he laughed when he found out that I was going into IT because I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah. So those calm guys are quirky to say the least.
Very much so. I love it. I've grown to love them, but they are very different than I am.
Hey, I have some relatives in, I think, that in calm. I don't know, they used to be or something. I don't know. So yeah, but God love them. God love
Yes,
them.
yes.
So you're how long have you been there in the job?
So in the comm squadron,
Yeah,
almost 5 years now.
5
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I knew you, uh, where were you working when I knew you, when I was there? Do you remember?
Um, do you remember what year it was?
Well, I retired in 2017.
Okay. So I was in emergency management because I might have been in services at
Okay.
that point in time. So I joined COM in 2019 and I was in services for 2 years before that.
Mhm.
And I served there for 2 years. Honestly, it was one of those things that to kind of go back, so I started as a vehicle operator, and well, I joined in '06, and because I saw my husband. So I went to my husband is prior active duty Army, went Army Reserve, had a break
Right.
a lot.
Go Army.
Yeah, yeah. But then
I
he
went
got
to
smart. Then he
yeah, I
got
was
no.
in the army. I was in the army in Iraq. Well, I
Oh,
wasn't active
okay.
duty. I was guard, but
Well, he was, stationed in Panama City, Panama.
oh wow.
So he was there, he got out. I didn't meet him until his break in service, and then 9/11 happened,
Mhm.
and he's like, "I'm going back in," and I'm like, "We just met, so I'm not sure about that." And I said, "We need to get married if that's something you wanna do." He kinda put it on the back burner for a little bit and then decided that he was going to, join the Army Guard. And one of the guys that he works with in his civilian job said, "Hey, I'm in the Air Guard. Why don't you join us?" I make a joke and say, Army sleeps under stars, Air Force sleeps under 5 stars. So he decided to join the Air Guard. And when he was actually raising his right hand, I kind of looked at him and I was like, I can do this. And he goes, Ashley, you're going to have to go through basic training and you're almost 30 years old. And I was like, I got this, my little cocky self. And he was like,
Don't tell me what
okay.
I can do.
Right. At the time, I was actually extremely overweight. And so if it was something that I wanted to do, I knew I had to get into shape because I could barely run out to my mailbox, much less run a mile and a half.
Yeah, I know that
So,
feeling.
after a few months, I got myself somewhat physically ready, enough to pass MEPS, and joined myself. Then I did that in '06. Didn't actually go to basic training till '07 because there
Okay.
was a long wait, and then came back as the vehicle operator. It was one of those things. My husband was a mechanic. I was the operator. I told him I would break them, he would fix them. And so it worked well. I did deploy as a vehicle operator, came back, and was offered a job in emergency management. And it
Wow.
was something that I absolutely, positively knew that I was going to love, um, being the alpha female that I am.
Yeah.
And went and did that for, gosh, I want to say 8 or 9 years.
Well, now was that
As a
Was that full time or was that guard?
So it started out as a drill status guardsman, so the,
Uh-huh.
1 week in a month, 2 weeks out of the year, which is really not what it is.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but then, was offered a contracting job in that
Okay.
position.
Yeah.
Um, did that and then deployed to Afghanistan, and when I came back, I was told I was not gonna have my contracting job anymore. So that's kinda scary in the
Mhm.
fact that you're coming back with to no job. And, they got me some temp orders and
Yep.
then put me as a technician. So, needless to say, I went from drill status contractor to a technician. um, then the commander of the Force Support Squadron contacted me and said, "What would it take for you to come over to services?" And if anybody's been in the military, that's not an easy job.
No.
It is a very ungrateful, like you're done dirty sometimes.
Yeah.
And I told him it would have to take an AGR slot for me to do it. He's like,
And
"Well,
can you explain that AGR real quick for people
sure."
that may
So
not know?
yeah, so it's an active reserve position. So you make all your benefits and your money is just like being active duty. The only difference between them is that they can't necessarily move you to another state. You can only be moved within the state. So I'm in Arkansas, so I could only be moved within either one of two wings, which is one is the 188th or the 189th, but 90% of the time you will only stay within your wing.
Mhm.
I did learn after I left FSS that you can be command directed to anywhere they want you to in the wing, which I did not know. But I truly believe everything happens for a reason. If I had to pick one of my favorite careers fields right now, it would most definitely be emergency management. That is where my heart is still. However, God has other plans for me, and I'm really excited on what is possibly to come with our communication unit. There could be. I'm in the process of trying to help us change mission, our mission set. So it could mean us growing quite a bit, from base communication to combat comm communication.
Oh,
So going to from about 38 people to 105. And so there's a lot of work in trying to get that changed, and
yeah.
we've just started.
I noticed that you got a big promotion, right? Are you there?
Work wise,
Huh?
work or personal.
Yeah, yeah, you're yeah, we talked about that, right? We talked about your promotion?
Oh, are you talking about my reenlistment or my
Yeah, oh, I'm
promotion?
sorry. Yeah,
No,
reenlistment. I'm sorry.
yeah,
Duh.
yeah.
I was good. I was misspoke. Yeah. So how did that feel? What's it feel like going reenlisting? And one thing I've noticed about I was, for this interview, I kind of checked you out, checked your socials out and everything. You are the most happy, motivated, like you look like you just love what you do. I mean, I've seen a lot of military people. I've never seen anybody love their job as much as you do. Not your job specifically, but just being in the guard, in
Absolutely.
the the system. Tell me about that. Tell me what the promotion means. Promotions. Tell me what the reenlistment means to you, and tell me how do you keep that attitude, and what does it mean to you just to be where you're at?
So you got to look at it. Not many people out there can actually serve. And unfortunately, as years go on, it's even fewer and fewer. A lot of kids nowadays get put on medication that disallows them, unfortunately, when they become an adult to join the military,
Mm.
without possible waivers and stuff like that. So I know what I am doing, not many people can do, and not many people want to do. But you know what it is to me? It's the fact that I can serve. And that's been like the reason why I did it is because I always told everybody I wanted to get outside of my box and I wanted to do something bigger than myself. And serving in the Air National Guard, if I would have known how it feels to be part of the military, I probably would have gone active duty a long time
Yeah,
ago. But at the same time, I wouldn't be where I am today. So everything right happens for a reason.
that's
But
right.
the way that it makes you feel, the family that you have, and yes, we have the hard-headed family, the loving family, the family you want to strangle, just like a regular family, but it's your family.
Yeah.
And you would literally take a bullet for them. And I never felt that in the civilian sector. And I worked at many different places to where you would think, I mean, I worked for Arkansas State Police at a point in time in my life, and you would think that, everybody there would be willing to take a bullet for everybody. And that's not always the case. So just the way the brotherhood, the sisterhood that you have once you're in is remarkable. And it's a feeling that you can't put into words, and you would just have to be there to feel it. And when I started, I wasn't for sure if I was going to do 20 years. I didn't know what that looked like, but come this reenlistment, I was like, I'm going to be in it for the long run, so they're either going to have to kick me out or I'm going to have to hit 60, one or the other. And so I reenlisted for another 6 because that was as long as that they would allow me to for right now. And the reenlistment was super awesome.
Yeah, I
I
saw the
normally,
pictures. Yeah.
yeah, normally you
We're
just
gonna
sit in
put
a
pictures
room.
of it up. So
Please do.
yeah.
Normally you're just sitting in a room, standing in front of some flags, and you do, raise your right hand and you do your thing. But I know that after this one, I probably only have one more. So I wanted it to be pretty special. My mentor, Lieutenant Colonel Brian Volner, I asked him if he would do that or if he would do my swearing in, and he said absolutely. And I was like, well, where would be a cool place to do it? And right now he is commander over at maintenance.
Yeah.
And so he was like, let's do it on top of an aircraft, on top of a C-130. And I was like, you could do that? And he was like, "Yeah, absolutely." I might have a little bit of a fear of heights, but I was like, "I'm doing this. Like nothing's gonna stop me." So got up there, and it was one of those moments that I will absolutely never ever forget.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Uh, I'll get the picture up, but it's I was like, wow. I was like, man, I wish I could have done something like that. I probably could have if I'd asked, but like you said, I didn't know it was possible to do anything like that.
Right. Now I don't know what to do for my last one, but it's gonna have to be better than that. So it's gonna be hard.
That was awesome. So, so let's get it out of your career a little bit, and we're going to get to the meat here in a minute. But we're just kind of get to know Ashley a little bit. Um, let's talk CrossFit now.
Yeah,
In
let's talk
honor
it.
of you today, I normally dress a little bit nicer, but I wore my shirt that I'm way too big to wear and not muscled up shirt either. My Rich Froning, the OG, the GOAT.
Love him. I talk about him all the
He's such
time.
a Christian man, and he's a great guy, and I mean, just a super individual, first of all. But and he's also ripped. And
Absolutely. Matter of fact, when I went and got my level 2, um, I went to his gym,
oh,
CrossFit
the Mayhem!
Mayhem,
You went to Mayhem?
and I did, and he
Oh,
walked in.
really?
Yeah, he
You got to
walked
meet
in,
him? Did you
and
get to meet
uh,
him?
I did.
Oh my
Matter of fact,
gosh!
it was so crazy. Super super fan of his. I um I said, "Is there a way that this might be a little embarrassing, but my husband was standing there when I did this. It's like, "Is there a way you could raise your shirt and I can touch your
Oh
abs?"
my gosh! I would have done the same thing.
I'll have to send you the picture, but yes, I did get to meet him. It was
Oh,
totally,
cool.
I like fan crazed over him and
Me
got my
too.
level 2 at his gym.
Me too. Where's the Mayhem? If for those of you who don't know CrossFit, Rich Froning is like the Michael Jordan of CrossFit. He's the
Absolutely.
Tiger Woods of CrossFit, and um, he's since retired, but he still does team stuff,
Mhm.
um, no individual stuff, and he has a gym called the Mayhem, something Mayhem, CrossFit
It
Mayhem.
just mayhem,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
In
where is that?
Tennessee.
Tennessee? Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
But just a great Christian man, and he does a lot for people. I mean, he gives a lot. So
absolutely.
that's super awesome. So tell me about your journey. I want to know when you um, started CrossFit, why you started CrossFit, how you stuck with it. Like I I got this because I started CrossFit, and the second day after I couldn't walk to my car, I didn't go back. So I'm kind of embarrassed by that, but but I got the shirt. So
Hey, that's all that counts, and like I said before we came on live, that's awesome that you're wearing that because this is the week of, CrossFit Games.
yeah.
So, just for those that don't know, you start at your friendly local gym, CrossFit gym, with the Open, and then after the Open, you have semifinals. And then after the semifinals, then you actually make it to the games. So to the games is a privilege that I will probably in my lifetime never see unless I'm just there as a spectator. I have been made it to the semifinals. I believe 4 times now,
Wow.
but it's
Wow.
still just hosted at your local gym, and you have to record
Mhm.
your workouts and everything. And I don't record them because I know that I'm up against women that live and breathe this.
Yeah.
People that have one-on-one coaches and literally wake up to this and go to sleep to this. So it's an honor to be able to make it to the next level. However, I know that's where I stand at the end. I've been doing CrossFit for almost, ooh, goodness, I want to say 16 years now.
I remember
Being
I think I remember when you started. I don't know. I know that you're my go-to person. Well, every time I have a CrossFit question, I went back to our messages from like 5 years ago, and I'm like,
Oh,
"Hey, I'm going
wow.
to go to CrossFit. What do you think about an old man going to CrossFit?" You're like, "Yeah, I do it." Of course, I never
Heck
did,
yeah.
but I it's crazy because I saw those old text messages from you about CrossFit. So like, you're my CrossFit person that
I
I go
love it.
to. So,
Yeah, I
um,
started coaching probably, about 2 or 3 years after
okay,
2 years after, I started doing it, mostly because the gym that I was going to needed some more coaches, and it was, those the people joke around and say, "How do you know a CrossFitter?" And it's because they'll tell you that they do CrossFit, and, very much so true. So the passion of doing it was unbelievable. So why not coach it? And what I learned after getting my level 1 and starting to coach is I actually got more out of coaching than me physically doing it myself.
mm,
Matter of fact, I coached today. I still coach to this day. And what it is once again, it's serving, right? It's watching men and women of all different ages, all different shapes, sizes, everything, actually walk in a door, find a community that will not only love on them, but cheer for them and encourage them to push past what they think in their head they can do and then find out that they can do so much more. And to just see people hit personal records, i.e.,
mm,
they also call it PRs,
yeah,
um, or just realize that they can do a pull up, or that they're able to do that box jump that everybody
oh,
fears. It's just it's just amazing my heart gets full. Like everybody goes, "How do you fill your cup?" And my cup gets filled every time that I coach because I just see their faces, and then I love watching them all lay down on the ground afterwards because it handed them their rear end for sure.
crawling out of the gym, you know.
Absolutely.
So my audience here is, I'm assuming, older, like my age, over 50, kind of in the next, heading to the next phase of life. maybe even retirement. What do you recommend CrossFit wise for somebody like that? Would that be a good thing to do, or how does that?
Absolutely. Matter of fact, for women, so I'm 48, so I'm not far behind you. For women, it most definitely is a must. And if any woman my age or 40 or older does any kind of research, the things that we need to do is build muscle and jump, and that will help. And the same thing for guys too.
Hmm.
Building that muscle as we get older will protect our bones. So when we fall, and we might not break that hip, right? Because we have enough muscle around it to actually protect it. It also, when you're CrossFitting or working out of any sort, it tends to help you eat a little bit better, because you realize when you go in the gym the next day, if you ate like Paducah the day before,
Yeah.
then you perform that way. So forces you to hydrate, and it just forces you to take care of your body in a better way than if you were to maybe just sit on the couch. Um, I see a lot less injuries if you have good coaches. I will have to say
Mm.
that it is all in the coaching.
Yeah, I
The
think that might have been my issue. Yeah.
it really is. Now, the owner of our actual CrossFit gym is a husband and wife duo. The husband is actually 57,
Oh,
and he is current 54, 57, somewhere around that age. And he CrossFits every single day, except for Sunday. That's when he goes and jumps out of aircraft. So, but it keeps him young, right? It keeps him
yeah.
going. It makes sure that he takes care of himself. And so I believe that no matter what your age is, we can modify absolutely anything. So go walk through that door, give it a try, and like I said, they'll modify it if you can't do it.
Yeah, and I I whenever I was doing it, I guess I just got really sore, and so I had trouble going back. And I know I have a friend that's a kinesiology guy, and he's telling me like somebody my age, um, I wasn't doing enough weight,
Mhm.
because when I was younger, we always did lighter weights to get cut,
Right,
and he's
right.
like, man, you got to stack on the weight when you get older and build that muscle up, especially your legs, for
Yep.
people our age. And I gotta say, I retired in 2017. Now I wasn't lifting weights then either. I was just doing whatever I had to do for the PT test, right?
Right, right.
But when I retired in 2017, I didn't do a lick, nothing. And I felt like the last 6 years or however many years up until this last year, I felt
Mhm.
like my health was going down. I literally thought, I'm going to be dead soon. And so I was like, I got to do something. So I started lifting weights because I did a lot of research and stuff. And I got to tell you, Ashley, this last year of just lifting weights and being consistent with it, um, um, you know, it's it's changed my life. It's like
Absolutely.
I have energy. I couldn't get out of the car, and I'm still a little bit overweight, but I couldn't get out of the car. Like it was walking into a store, or whatever. My legs hurt, felt heavy all the time, and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And now we're real consistent. We try to go to the gym. We use James Clear's 1% rule. I don't know if you ever heard of James Clear,
No.
but it's doing 1% a day. If you just do
Oh,
1% a
yes,
day, we
yes,
talk about
yes.
that a
Okay.
lot on this channel. Um, just like 1% of people join the Air Guard or the military, right? Um,
Right.
so so yeah, I think CrossFit could be a good longevity thing. I worry about my joints with CrossFit, stuff like that. Um, but
A lot
like
of
you said,
times
if you get
what
the right coach.
Right, and kind of backing up a little bit. So we use Mayhem's programming.
Okay.
So a lot of times, there's actually not a lot of times, there is different levels. There is a master level, so that's for us
Oh
little
yeah,
bit
I've heard of
older
that.
people. And it might be the weight is lighter, it might be the movement is a modification of the prescribed movement. Um, just because you're right, as we get older, we've got to kind of look at our bodies a little differently, especially if we're just getting back into the game of working out, whatever that looks like. So that once again, if you find a good coach and a good gym, they could help you with modifications
Yeah.
to make sure that you're not overdoing it. Now, feeling sore is not a bad thing. Feeling pain is the bad
But if
thing.
you're a sissy like me, I mean,
Everybody asked me, "Does it get any easier?" And I said, "No, not if you keep pushing yourself."
yeah.
There's a few times that I've had to use the handicap stall just to help sit down. I promise.
Just wait, you're almost to the master's level.
Yeah, so there's different master's level, but to the one that I'd like to go down and modify a little bit, yeah, I'm getting closer. I'm getting much closer. Once I hit that, I think it's 50 or 55, yeah, I'm
Okay.
ready.
Well, that's great. Well, I know you've been a coach for a while. I know you've been doing it for a while, and you're really consistent with it. You're a stick with it person, from what I can tell, anyway. So you're always going to be my go-to on that. Um,
It's an honor.
so moving on to some serious things, and to a subject that's near and dear to your heart, I want you to talk to me about and tell me about the Ignite Women on Fire. And one of the things I want to know about it, obviously, you want to tell me all about it, but one of the things I'm kind of curious to know is where do you guys, uh, how many members do you have? Where do you meet? How does it happen?
Right. So it's been, and I'll be very transparent for lack of better words
Okay.
with it. It's been an off and on thing for a couple years now. I started it just a little bit background about me. I started it because I was raised in a meth home. So my father was a meth addict and my mother left when I was in first grade. Since now I actually have a good relationship with my mother, and my father is now 26 years clean. So I'm
Right.
very blessed to have that change in our lives. But I didn't grow up in the best of situations. And I also, after I decided to be big bad in 18 and move out of my house, I actually was living with my mother at the time. I still had about 3 more months of high school when I turned 18, and because I turned 18 in March and I didn't graduate until actual May. And I was like, well, I could do this on my own. And I didn't think that out very well. I moved into a hotel room in a Econo Lodge for the rest of my high school months because I was graduating with honors. And I realized that I had worked hard for that. And if you know me, once I start something, I'm committed to it and I'm going to finish it. So to finish high school, I worked 2 jobs. I worked at Dairy Queen. I went to school, got out at about noon, worked at Dairy Queen, got out of there, and then went to Denny's, and then would go home, sleep, or go to Econo Lodge and sleep for a couple hours and then go back to school. So, um, you know, I, I knew that life wasn't going to be easy. And when I got married, my first husband, so I am in my second marriage and last marriage. Um, I told him if he ever tried to leave me, it would be over his dead body. But
Yeah.
um, he I my first marriage was an extremely abusive relationship. I did have my daughter with him, and then to protect my daughter, I realized I needed to leave him. That's why I say that my daughter is a blessing to me because I wouldn't be here today. My whole family thinks that I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for me having her and realizing it wasn't me that I was protecting her.
Hmm.
So since then, my ex husband has gotten help and has been a wonderful husband and father of his current wife, and a great father to my daughter. But I I always looked at life and said, you know what, I can't play victim or I'm never going to move past it. So I started talking to women about being strong, either entrepreneurs, leaders, or just strong women. And everybody's like, "Have you ever thought about being a life coach?" And I'm like, "Oh, don't have time for that right now. When I retire, though, be looking for that." Um, and I said, "I don't really have time for that." But they're like, "Well, you're in quite a few different communities. Have you ever thought about just starting some type of women's group?" And I said, I would love to do that. So it started, and it kind of, was rough. I would have a few meetings, one or two people would show up, and then three or four people would show up. I think we got up to 12 at one time, and the process is the first month I would have a guest speaker
Hmm.
because it couldn't always be me, because that would get very boring. But also, I wanted people to have the opportunity to learn from other women, other strong leaders that are women in our community. So I would contact a CEO, a book writer, somebody that I knew in my life that could pour into women. So that would be the first month. The second month, I would take what that speaker did and have them, or between them and we would build some kind of like workshop around it. And that would be a lot more to where everybody can kind of talk through what we learned the month before. And then the third month would be, it was a networking. So we would find a local business that was willing to let us either take it over for that evening, or if they were closed. A lot of the times it was one of the ladies that were in the group that owned the business, and we would go to theirs and do a little bit of a speed dating type of thing.
Yeah.
Because being together in a room with people, you don't realize how much you can help each other and encourage each other, have connections that other people might need. And my focus has been on women because I feel like we're really hard on ourselves and hard headed.
Yeah.
And I could go down the list, but when you're around other strong women, I was always taught that go into a room with women that are stronger than you and you will grow. And so I always, kept that true to the women that I would either invite to speak or have in our group. So we have been off season for about 6 months just because of life for
Hmm.
everybody. But we're hoping that uh, here in a few months that we can possibly get started back up because we miss the networking. And I have a lot of ladies that have been wanting to get it started again. So
Well, that's great. I have remind me after this. I have some people that would be good speakers for your group that I know
absolutely.
of that are great. Some great women doing some great things in business and also with the kingdom of Christ.
That's right.
Um,
Number one.
so well, all right. So that's pretty exciting. I mean, you got irons in every fire. You know, you're everywhere, and that's just amazing to me. So, which is one of the
Thank
reasons I
you.
wanted to have you on. Um, so, I'll try to get some kind of. I'll probably link to your LinkedIn for the Ignite women.
Absolutely.
Do that. So I'll try to do that. So tell me now. Let's get into the meat. Tell me about EANGUS. I was a member for a little while. I was a little E6. I never paid any dues because I was a bad tenant. But let's talk about EANGUS. Let's. I would say let's talk to the civilian audience about it, but we're here to kind of promote you as far as what you're doing and you're running for office. So let's talk to people about EANGUS, about what it explain what it is, especially for dumb officers like me, and then explain what you're doing now, what your position is now, and maybe uh, talk a little bit about the election and the process. Kind of curious to hear about all that. So let's start with the what it is and what you're doing now in Ingus.
Absolutely. So EANGUS is actually the national level. So it's
Mm.
the Enlisted Association of the National Guard of the United States. And National Guard means both Army and Air.
Oh,
So it's not just yeah, not just the air side. I have to be able to speak a little bit of Army. Um, yeah. Luckily, my husband can translate for me a lot because he was prior Army. And it actually started back in 2016. Um, I was invited to, no, 2015, I was invited to a state level conference. So that is EAANG. So that's the Enlisted Association of the Arkansas National Guard. And I was like, okay, what is this all about? And he was like, just help me stuff bags for registration. I was like, okay. Next thing I know, on day 2, I was being elected as a rep for our wing. And I don't know how that happened. I just woke up and there I was. And I got to go to our first national conference. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is so much bigger than what I thought. And what the Enlisted Association does, both on the state level and the national level, is go and, for lack of better words, lobby for the benefits of the National Guard, both on Army and the air. So for anybody that's been active duty, they know that when you switch over to the Guard, or just, I've always been a Guard baby, I was never active duty. There are benefits that the Guard does not have that the active duty does. And just so that you know, sir, there is an equivalent of the officer side to all of this, and that's NGAA at the Arkansas state level, or NAUGUS at the national level. And we're sister organizations, and we do work very much side by side. Matter of fact, at the national level, um, our office, the enlisted office, is upstairs of the national office for the officers. So we share the same building. It's officer building, but we have an office upstairs. Um, and what our job is on the state side is to listen to the boots on the ground. What is it that our airmen and soldiers need, along with, and this is one thing that a lot of people don't think about, what do our families need?
mhm.
There's a lot of things that we have, and when we deploy and just go through the motions while our family is left at home. And I can say that because I've been on both sides. I've been the wife at home while my husband was in Iraq, and then I've been the spouse that was deployed while my husband to Afghanistan while my husband was here. So I've truly understand both sides, and trust me, being deployed was 10 times easier than being the one at home. So we always really look at what are the benefits that we can make sure that our families are taking, so that they're taken care of. And even the children, child care, or if you have a special needs child, getting assistance with that. Education benefits that are not just for the members, but for the spouses and the children, their dependents. There's so much. Uh, you know, it started, and I like to say, for those old schoolers, the reason why the National Guard have the opportunity to go to the commissary, which is the grocery store for
Mhm.
our civilian friends on base, is because it's because of the Enlisted Association and the Officer Association actually fighting for the rights of our Guards member, because they used to have, I don't know if you remember, sir, but the little pink cards,
Mhm.
and you were only allowed to go to the commissary and get that tax-free food the weekend that you were at drill, or maybe twice a month.
Yeah.
And once they punched your little card, you couldn't go back in. So that was one thing a long time ago that we fought for, to make sure that our guards members, both on the Army and Air side, had the benefit of. So now they can freely go into any of the PX, BX, commissary, just like any active duty member. Another thing was our insurance, so TRICARE.
Yeah.
For our members, for our Guard members, it wasn't offered to them for a long time. And this was an organization that said, hey, when we deploy, which a lot of times people don't get this, we deploy almost more often than our active duty counterparts do. Um, we're standing right next to them, and my uniform looks identical to their uniform.
Yeah.
My Air Force counterpart active duty says Air Force, and so does mine. So you would never know the difference between a Guard member and an active duty person. And guess what? When I left home, I didn't just leave my family, but I left the place that I work Monday through Friday at. So I left a business behind. So why not have similar benefits to our active duty counterparts? So that is what the Enlisted Association and the Officers Association does for our Guard members. And then what I currently do at a national level is I am our treasurer, and it has been very exciting. And I didn't realize how hard of a job it actually was, to make sure that our accounts, both with our Enlisted Association and we have a foundation that I am over, make sure bills are paid. On the foundation side, we do grants and loans for Guard members that are in need. And then on the association side, that is where we fight for the rights at a federal level. So the state focuses on state level benefits, and then the national level focuses on the federal level. What's going to go into the NDAA? What can we get changed? And there's some things that have to stay at a state level and some things that have to stay at a federal level. So I am currently now running, my term for treasurer is up. And instead of rerunning, which was my game plan originally, the president decided not to run. The vice president decided to run for president. And I was asked if I would mind running for vice president. So here I am. I am running for vice president. Our elections are going to be just in a few weeks. Election day is on August 3rd. And what will happen is our conference starts 2 days before that, and we will be meeting. We will have breakouts. So throughout the conference, there's going to be lots of, going over resolutions, going over bylaws. And then on the 3rd, each state and territory has a certain number of delegates that they're allowed to have on the floor. And then they are allowed to vote for who they want for office. So each state, so for the state of Arkansas, we have 9 delegates. And I hope that I have all 9 delegate votes, which I'm pretty sure I do. But on the 3rd, they will announce who they're voting for, and as delegates. So
So, who's the competition here? Who do we got to beat? What's,
So luckily right now, I'll be honest with you, I'm unopposed. However,
oh,
I've I've been doing this for quite a few, I've been going to national conference, like I said, since 2015. It might have been 2016 when I went to the actual national one for the first time. And I have seen people throw their name in the hat the day before elections.
oh,
And I have a funny feeling. Um, I'm not gonna see somebody, but I might have just jinxed myself. Normally by now we would have heard some, gossip and rumors about who else wants to throw their name in, but I don't know. Some people say I'm intimidating and they don't want to run against me. Um,
so do,
a lot of people say that about me until they get to know me. So I'm wondering if I'm just scaring my competition away.
that's exciting. That's exciting. So we got a good shot here of supporting a winning candidate here in the 214. And so will you go to DC? Did you say if you were going to go to, where do you
So
go?
we do meet in DC a couple times a year. Most everything now after the COVID situation, we went to our technology has got it to where we can do a lot of Zooms and Teams meetings. But I do go to DC at the very least 2 to 3 times a year. to
Wow.
totally focus on going and just going up to the Capitol, going and talk to our state representatives and congressmen and women. And that's my goal when I go up there. Obviously, I visit our office to make sure everything's running smoothly there, and if there's anything that we can do. But we don't have to move. We can stay where we're located and do
Okay.
it virtually, basically.
So, how much does this take from your regular job? I mean, how does your boss
Oh, I'm
feel
glad you're
about
asking
this?
me and not Lance. I'm glad you're asking me, not Lance. I would have to say it depends on the job that you hold. So as treasurer, I have an app on my phone. So when a bill comes due, luckily I can really pretty much be anywhere and work on my phone, pay bills, and pay attention to money coming in and out. Um, we do have quarterly meetings. However, right after this, I have a meeting for our corporate partner program. So I I wish I could say it's quarterly, but I would be safe to say I do something every single day for the Enlisted Association, and I wouldn't change it for anything. As vice president, I actually will be doing more hands-on work, so working more one-on-one with our committee chairs and our directors at each area. So it would be more people work versus paperwork, which I'm down with. I like it when I can have conversation versus just me staring at numbers all day.
Yeah.
So super excited about it.
So, do you guys work with Yellow Ribbon at all,
So
or do they
no,
even
we
still have Yellow
don't.
Ribbon? I don't know.
Yeah, we do still have yellow ribbon. We don't work hand in hand with that. However, we do work with other corporate partners and other organizations. We try to partner up with them and work with them and see how we can help.
Well, that's good. So I got some fun questions for you. Now, I want to know, like, what's the most exciting person you've got to meet or thing you've got to do because of EANGUS? You know,
Oh wow.
like,
Um, Goodness gracious. What has been exciting, I've gotten to meet a lot of political people, right? And
yeah.
you have to learn to talk to both sides of the party ticket. And that has been probably the most challenging thing for me because I'm very opinionated. But I have to remind myself that I'm not speaking for Ashley. I am speaking
Yeah.
for the airmen and soldiers, and not every airman and soldier believes the same things as Ashley believes. I still have a moral compass, and there are some things that I just choose not to speak about so that it doesn't I don't know, affect anybody else around me. However, I keep my focus on benefits with the airmen and soldiers. So really honestly, I've gotten to meet a lot of not only the state of Arkansas's senators and
Hmm.
representatives, but being able to meet other representatives that you and senators that you see on the news,
Yeah.
good or bad. I
Yeah.
have been in the hallways walking down past their office when they come out. And, what I've realized is that they're just regular people too.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'm learning it so much that I'm actually running for a position in our city.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah. Tell me about that.
non-political.
Tell me about that.
Yes. I mean, just add one more thing to my
Yeah.
list
Just
of
add one
things
more
to do.
thing. I forgot all about that.
So it's really encouraged me to actually, put my name in the hat. It is a city council position, so it is non-political, but it is serving our community. And so who's to say when I retire, because obviously I can't run for anything political until I retire from the military.
Hmm.
Who's to say that I don't try?
Yeah.
I don't know. Just I don't have one particular person that has just stood out to me. It's just the opportunity to be in the room and to talk to not just the Arkansas um, senators and representatives, but other states. So it's been really awesome.
Well, What I want to know, and I have it here in my notes. Okay, um, your most exciting or favorite moment, not person you met, because I know Rich Froning is the top of that list. So,
Yeah, he would be in the top.
like the most moment, it doesn't have to be like a NASCAR race, but like something you've done with EANGUS or you got to be a part of that. If somebody asks you about EANGUS, that's the first thing that comes to your mind.
Honestly, I would have to say that it has been being part of a foundation that gives back to our airmen and soldiers. We go through some really, really tough times sometimes. Financial issues. We've had families that have lost their house to fire. In the Arkansas area, there's lots of tornadoes. In the California area, lots of fires. And the most fulfilling and the most exciting thing to do is to be able to hand a check over to them
Hmm.
and food and just assistance and see the tears. I've been able to watch um helping pay for a toddler's funeral,
Oh,
and
wow.
that alone brings so much joy that we could give back to them and to my brothers and sisters that are just
Yeah,
in a rough time. And I honestly want to say that those have been the most exciting moments of
I
my
can imagine
life, is to be able to give back and watch their face light up and realize there is hope at the end of the tunnel.
that to me would be makes it all worth it, right?
Absolutely.
To be able to,
Absolutely.
I mean, we're all here. I think it's important for all of us to remember that, we do have a bigger calling in this world. God has bigger calling for us. Um, and to help other people like that is just the greatest. They say you don't know love till you've had children, and that's true. Um,
Absolutely.
but you also don't know love until you've helped somebody with their life or just whatever. That's just amazing to me.
When you can be
Oh,
the hand and feet of our good Lord
amen.
and watch that, that effect um happen in real life, it's an awe moment. Most definitely an awe moment.
Amen. Well, I think that's a good place to stop. I think do you have anything else? Do you got one more pitch you want to make to be the vice president? Because I expect to have you back on as the vice president. So I have a new title for you when you come back on.
I just asked for lots of prayers, patience, because that, oh gosh, I don't know. Every time I ask God for patience, it gets harder for me. Um, just, prayers that I do the right thing, and that my heart stays in the right place, and that I don't take on more than what I can chew. I truly believe God opens doors and shuts doors. And if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. But I have a gut feeling that it is. And so I ask for prayers, I ask for support. And if you want to follow me and find out what happens come the third, I'll either come on live crying or or come on live and celebrating. So hopefully it's the latter.
Can we follow you on your Facebook page? Is that where?
Absolutely. Ashley McCoy Brodnax. So McCoy is my maiden name. That's on Facebook, Ashley.Brodnax on Instagram, and then Ashley Brodnax on LinkedIn.
I'll put all that in the show notes underneath, and
And hopefully one day I'll have a book.
I hope you do have a book because you're going to
One
bring it
day.
on here and we're going to talk about it. I'm working on a book
Absolutely.
for the last 20 years.
Well, that will
Um,
be me too. So it'll be about 20 years from now.
I mean, you're not anybody unless you have a book, right?
Right, right.
I mean, especially those Navy SEAL guys. One of my best friends is a Navy SEAL retired, and I'm like, when are you going to write a book?
Right,
You know,
exactly.
so you were talking about, how do you know a CrossFitter? They tell you this is what the Navy SEAL thing is. How do you know a Navy SEAL? Because they write books.
They write a book about it. Yeah, exactly. And I'll
So,
read it. I'll read it.
well, it's been a joy having you on. I'm so grateful and blessed that you came on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good luck on your election, and you know, like I said, come back, let us know how it goes, and you know, I think I think it's going to be great. I think you're going to do wonderful, and we're just so blessed to have you on. And thanks for coming on with us.
It's truly an honor. Thank you for the invite.
Okay, thank you, Ashley.
All right.
Bye. So
Bye-bye.
Ashley Brodnax, everybody, that was Ashley Brodnax. She is going to be running for office in August, and we'll catch back up with her later after the election and see how it went and everything. I'll let you know here on the show. Next week it'll just be me doing a solo show, and the week after that, well, my friend Bill will be coming on. So you've been watching the Ashley Brodnax interview on a 214 podcast with Rick Carman, and this is episode 5. We made it to episode 5, everybody. So they said it couldn't be done, but it's been done. So until next time, stand strong in the faith, act like men, and yes, be where your feet are.